How to take user input in R. The command we use is readline, and when you are using it, you can get the input from the user. For example, in the case of ice cream shop, you are asking the user about the favorite flavor and the type. The syntax is here, readline, and you put the prompt message you want the user see before they enter the input. Here we have the code for inputting. All the basics of R are being applied here. So you just learn how to input, but you add it to the other thing you know about R, and so you can do more tasks. Here, the parts that it put name, okay, it's a variable to get, and the output or anything that you get from readline is a string. It means that even if you enter a number, it would be a string here. And it makes sense because this one is gonna be also string. It is number, but it is a string. For example, I put 7. So I'm telling you, even if you enter, for example, it says enter your name and you enter 7, it would be saved as a string. We are gonna check it soon. Okay, so here we have name, value, variable, the assignment sign, and readline. As you can see, everything is in its small state, no capital. Readline, and here you put the prompt message you want to show. And after that, when you run this line, what happens? It asks you to enter your name. And when you get the name, when you enter the name, it prints in the second line. What does it print in the second line? In the print line, in the next line, it prints the paste of hello space and the name you entered here. Okay, let's run it together. I run the first line, and here you see it says enter your name. Here you can see again the code here. Readline prompt enter your name, and this enter your name colon space, exactly you are seeing it here. It puts here and it is waiting for my input. Now enter your name, I put my name, and that's it. And what happens now? Now this name that I have entered is saved in this variable. In the next part, after I enter the name, we go for printing this paste hello and name, and I run this and it would be the result. As you can see, it prints the paste of that thing. So that's the point that now here you just saw. In the previous slide, you heard that even if you enter a number with readline, it would be saved as a string. So we need to change it because it is a string. We need to change it to an integer or a numeric value in R. But what are numeric and integer values in R? Both representing numbers. But the difference between them, numeric representing decimal values, float numbers, but integers are whole numbers. So when you want to change the format of the number you have saved as a string, You need to specify if it is an integer or numeric. Numeric including integer and decimal values, float values, but integer is only covering the whole numbers. Let's check these things here together. For numeric, as I told you, decimal values, integer, whole numbers. And another thing that I want you to see, yes, precision can handle both whole numbers and fractions, as I told you. And for integers, whole numbers only, no fractional part. In terms of memory use, of course, integer is better. So if in your code you are sure you are not gonna use decimal values, use integer value, because it makes your application faster with lower amount of memory usage. And for the default type, if you don't mention anything, default for numbers in R would be numeric. So if they are not numeric, you must explicitly specify that they are integer. So if you don't specify anything, it goes for numeric and it will take more space. And this L sign is for telling it is integer. So 5L means integer in R, but 5 means numeric. And about the usage, you can see everything. So now here, let's do an activity together. And pay attention to this. When I'm stopping explaining this activity, you stop the video and try to do the activity yourself before you check the answer that comes in the following seconds of this video after my explanation here. So prompt the user to input two numbers. So prompt the user to input numbers, just create two lines of read line and then print the summation of them on the console. What will happen when you get the inputs from the user? It will get the numbers, but they are a string, so you cannot add to a string number together. First, you need to change them to integer or numeric based on what they are. If they are whole numbers, just make them integer. If they are numeric numbers, just make them numeric, as you can see. Stop the video and try to do it yourself. Here is the code for the activity, and as you can see, we are using readline, and prompt the user, enter the first number, save it in N1, prompt the user, enter the second number, save it in N2, and print paste of N1 plus N2, and this part you already know about these things, comma, as numeric N1, as numeric N1, so it means that you can even enter decimal numbers. Can you make it integer? Yes, but make sure the number that you enter is only whole number. As numeric N1 plus as dot numeric N2. And when you run it, you get the results. Here is the result of running the code. And as you can see here, when we run this line, it asks me to enter the first number, 1.7. And when we run the second part, it asks to enter the second number. And after that, for printing this part, the result would be N1 plus N2 equal to 7.7. You see, when you use numeric, you can enter both decimal number and whole number. And the logic of this is the same as the previous page that you already know about them, but as dot numeric N1 make N1 that was a string here a number. Another thing we want to discuss is rbind.fill command. Rbind.fill command is not in the core package of R. You need to install this package, PLYR, and it's very helpful because it considers the name of columns in combining the matrices. Sorry, not matrices, data frames. So if you have a matrix, you need to make it a data frame. Exactly the same way you change a string number to integer, you change a string number to a whole number. Here you also need to change your matrix with exactly the same command, as.data.frame. So you have these two things. Okay, when you rbind them together, you remember rbind we did previously before. In the rbind, very easily it makes it 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, correct? But here it considered these columns also. So when it combine them, it checks the column names. So when it is column 1, column 2, it put it here, but it goes to the other one and it just look for column 1 and column 2. When it doesn't find them, it puts an A over there. You see? And exactly for the other one, when it goes for column 3, column 4, and it doesn't find the column 3 and column 4 in the first data frame, it puts an A for them. Now I'm going to show you an example. You are going to learn it better. In this session, you are noticing we are just using the things we already know, and it has more application style. So here we are creating our first matrix the same way you have learned it, and here I put the name for the columns. You already know about that. So I create M1 matrix, and after that I go for M2 matrix, and with different column names as you see, and I get the print of M1 and N. And here is 2 matrix, and now I'm gonna rbind fill them one time, and one time I'm gonna rbind them. When I'm rbind them, it would be agility, a steadfast 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it gets rid of these ones and without any NA value. But when I use rbind fill, it would be agility, a steadfast 1, 2, 2, 3, NA, here, NA, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's see together. Here I install the package of PLYR and library, call upon it, and here you see M3 would be regular rbind, and M4 would be rbind fill. And remember, since rbind fill, as I told you, it doesn't accept matrix, you need to make it a data frame, exactly like a string integer, a string numeric. So the same thing. So another thing that you are learning in this session is to change the type of your object. And here is the result as we expected. Make sure you understand fully the logic of these structures that you see in front of you. They are going to be very helpful in text mining when you put words here and documents here. As the last thing we discuss in this session is NA function, because now you are knowing this value NA that is not available, and now it's a value that here we are going to learn how to find them in an object. As you can see here in the descriptions here, so when you put is NA, it's exactly the same way it is interpreted in regular English. Is it NA, true or false? So when you run it, for example, on this object, it would be false, false, true, 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 false, false, and like that. Here you see the results. Is NA M4, and as you can see, it is the results of is NA M4. And when it is not NA, it gives false. And remember, NA is just one character.